Alright, so you might have noticed that the video uploads kind of dropped off a little bit. Honestly, it's kind of just a motivation problem. Not just with videos, by the way. The only thing I've been motivated to do is play Luna Neo and X-Rank. So I thought what better way to motivate myself than announce that I'm going to be making a new video every single week this month. The whole month of February. You're watching one right now. I already have something planned out for every week, and I think some of the videos you'll find pretty interesting. That's all I really wanted to say. Now enjoy my video on me looking at Splatoon 2 hot takes. Alright, so I've been on Splatoon Twitter for about, 30 minutes, and constantly I've just been seeing these one like equals one hot take thing, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go find out what these hot takes are all about, and if they're even hot takes. And I'm just going to be talking about them, I guess. I don't exactly know the best way to record this, I'll be honest. We're just going to see as it goes. So I'm just going to search, one like equals Splatoon. And here we go. We're in it. Stealing this from multiple people, one like equals one competitive Splatoon take. Yeah, we're going to be doing competitive takes. I don't know what this is. Okay, yeah, that's competitive too. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. Alright, let's do this one first. At Charizard tweet. Oh, here's one I saw earlier. This got retweeted on my timeline. Squid bagging is a completely valid tactic, and rules against it in tournaments are dumb. You should not be rewarding people with entire games or sets for having a weaker mental game. If you brush off the squid bag, it suddenly becomes unoptimal for the opponent to do it. 100% agree. Okay, this is... I can't say anything about this other than I just 100% agree with it. Squid bagging controversy is some of the stupidest stuff I've seen ever. I haven't really seen tournaments that straight up ban squid bagging, but I have seen people like in the help desk for some of these tournaments is like, these guys are squid bagging us, can we take the game? It's like, why? That's such a stupid thing to take a game over. Splatoon is not just the game that you play. It's also a mental game. It's a huge mental game. If you tilt in this game, you are going to play worse. That's why every time you see people play solo queue and they lose like 5 games in a row and they just keep going and they keep going, trying to get those points back, but they just keep losing, it's because they're tilting. It's because they're just getting angry at the game. They're just playing aggressive and they're not actually doing like what they're good at. Sometimes you'll just rush in into an area where there's a guy sharking that you would have obviously seen if you just, I don't know, check the map before you went in, or just paint it up a little bit, and then they just kill you, and then you get even more pissed. Mentality is a huge thing in this game, so banning something like squid bagging makes literally no sense to me, and it's always stupid when people talk about it. K-Machine is honestly one of the most obnoxious weapons to play against, and if it didn't have Splashdown, or if Splashdown wasn't actually good, it would easily be one of the best weapons as a whole. I don't know about the last part of it being easily one of the best weapons as a whole, but K-Machine, I agree. K-Machine is absolutely obnoxious to play against. I'm just kind of glad sloshers aren't good right now. Or at least as good as they were before, because I hate fighting sloshers. And I'll just say that. I hate fighting a lot of weapons. So if your weapon's bad and I hate fighting it, then I'm glad it's bad. I'm sorry. Ooh, blaster take. Let's see this. If you give all black... Wait, hold on. What was the other one? Oh, armor. Armor take. Armor is a necessary evil for the game to keep itself together and not completely crumble against other specials, Stingray 10 missiles. There's a reason why it's seen barely any changes, and the true way to fix it is to give certain weapons more damage against it. Yeah, I kind of agree, mainly because that's how the game is basically designed now. That's kind of what they've balanced everything around, is how it works with armor. Like, when Splatoon 2 first came out, armor was not as big as it was. Like, people weren't running as many armors as they are now. Like, armor is just a necessity for every team comp, okay? It's like the backbone of a team. And since it's been used in like every single team comp, now you can balance stuff around it because it's always there. Which honestly is kind of honestly is really bad balancing wise. It sounds really stupid, but yeah, that's armor for you. Yeah, they need to buff way more weapons in this game for sure, especially against armor. Blasters, which I know is probably about to talk about, is a great example. If you give all blasters except rapid a 160, or hell, even 180 direct damage instead of a mediocre 125, they would suddenly become much more playable and wouldn't struggle with objects as much. A direct to armor and to indirect to kill. Beautiful. Yes, I agree. Blasters got absolutely fucked over by specials, okay? Blasters struggle against literally every special in the game. Every single special in this game either is just a counter to, like, being sneaky and sharking, which is a counter to how the way Blaster plays in itself sometimes, or just paints. And if it paints, then, well, you're getting outpainted. Now you can't move around. Some specials even do both. Like, Rain does both of those things. But Armor is definitely probably the biggest example of a special absolutely destroying Blaster. Trying to fight Armor with literally any Blaster that isn't, like, rapid if you're at max range, or, I don't know, maybe Clash can do it. Every other Blaster can't fight Armor. Like, if you're a Blaster and you just see the enemy's armor, your only option really is to hope that your team has chip damage that can chip the armor off for you, or just back up. Like, Blasters do not have as many options to fight against armor as literally every other weapon in the game, and Blasters are also, coincidentally, one of the worst classes in the game. Oh my god, how many of these are there? Many people claim for shooters to be nerfed, but I think the right call, okay, that wasn't even my, like, error that time, would be to make the other weapon classes actually work and feel good to play, and consistency is one of the worst feelings, especially when it's out of your control, which leads to people dropping weapons. Hard agree. Inconsistency is so annoying. That's one thing I hate about this game. So many times there's just something that doesn't work, and if it did work, then the weapon would be so much better. I think RNG mechanics are one of, like, the worst mechanics in a competitive game like this, because it's out of your control whether you hit that shot completely random. And, like, I mean, I understand for, like, some things RNG has to be there. Like, I don't know if you could really give every shooter no jump RNG. Like, then what? You're gonna have to give every shooter some crazy difference in order to compensate. Otherwise, they're all just gonna play the same but longer range. But stuff like, I don't know, stuff like Blaster RNG, that shouldn't exist. Stuff like Roller RNG, that shouldn't exist. Those weapons should be consistent. I don't know why those weapons were given RNG ever, but those weapons should be consistent, or at least a lot more consistent than they are now. No, I think getting rid of Blaster RNG, perfect. Get rid of Blaster RNG. Every single Blaster. No Blasters needed. I can't really think of one Blaster that needs jump RNG. Even like Rapid, I feel like you could get rid of it and it would still be fine. It still wouldn't be broken. Okay. Steaming hot take here. Splatoon 2 is superior to its predecessor in nearly every single way. The only things I feel Splatoon Wii U does better are the hero mode, the stages, and the metas to some extent. Also, the Splatoon 2 songs are not as bad as people make them out to be. Okay, no, Splatoon 2 songs are garbage, and I will die on this hill. Splatoon 1 songs, I can't think of a single Splatoon 1 song, the multiplayer ones at least. I'm just going to talk about the multiplayer ones because that's what everyone talks about when they're referring to, like, Splatoon 1 tracks. All the Splatoon 1 multiplayer tracks are fire, okay? They're all good. I can't think of one that I don't like. Like, I can think of ones that I don't like as much as the other ones. Like, I think that Metalopod, I don't like that one as much. I understand it's, like, the only metal song in the game, but I don't know. I just don't feel it as much as the other ones. But Splatoon 2 tracks, there's ones I just don't like, okay? There's ones I hate. Everything from Wet Floor and everything from Bottom Feeders, I don't like. I don't like either of those bands. And those bands make up, like, half the music in the entire game. Like, all of the song slots in this game are hogged by, like, the two worst bands. That's my hot take of the day, okay? I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but Splatoon 2 music garbage. I mean, there's definitely some good Splatoon 2 tracks. I think Chirpy Chips is fire. They're just the best band in Splatoon. There we go, another hot take. What's Sashimori? That's good. I like both those songs. Despair is fine. But Splatoon 1 just has better tracks overall, honestly. There's just so much, like, Splatoon 2 music that just sounds the same to me. It's just, like, nothing's interesting about it, really. All the DLC tracks they added in Splatoon 2 are, like, fire. But, like, everything that came, like, when the game launched is just garbage. Okay, let's talk about the rest of this, by the way. meta to some extent. I don't know to what extent. To some extent, though, the meta is better in Splatoon 1, apparently. I think in terms of diversity, the meta in Splatoon 1 is definitely not better because there's a lot less weapons. But, like, there's just a lot less weapons to play. But, like, I think the fast-paced meta of Splatoon 1 is much more enjoyable to play and fight against than the stally special meta of Splatoon 2. Especially when you're fighting against, like, competent players who can do the strats. Like, if you're fighting against good double missile players, or good, you know, just... And it doesn't even have to be double missile. If you could just run a V-Jet. Like, that's what the King's pickup did at Super Jump. Was it Super Jump? Was that the tourney that they did it to FT Win, and Shelton just spammed missiles the entire time? I don't remember, but there's like one set from like a tournament. I was just laughing my ass off the whole time because they're all fighting and it's like humpback zones, and then Shelton's just in the back spamming missiles with VJ. It's just like it's his job to spam as many missiles as possible. He died twice, and he still got like 13 or 14 off. I think like Chara said in the chat, he was like on pace for 18 missiles in that game, which is insane. That's just crazy. That's a top JP player, by the way. That's what high level meta looks like. Sure, FT Win did win that game, barely, but it's man, Splatoon 2 meta is just garbage. There we go. One tricking sucks. Rainmaker is the funniest mode out of the 4, and for me the best one to see during a tourney. Okay, I don't think the second one is a hot take at all. I think that's just objectively, yeah, it's just the best tournament mode because it has the craziest comebacks. The thing about like TC is that like TC has that aspect too, but TC moves a lot slower, so it's not as like, oh my god, like you get in the rush. I think like Rainmaker just getting that crazy push in last second, that's always a great thing to see at a tournament. One tricking sucks. The thing about one tricking is some weapons you just can one trick. It's like some weapons are just so good you can just one trick them and learn the ins and outs of them, and you'd be better than just flexing. First of all, not everybody has the time to flex like 5 different weapons. Second of all, if you're flexing like 20 different weapons, like okay, if you're flexing like 5 different weapons, like what Kiver does, you're not gonna be like the best in the world at all of them. And even like Kiver says a lot of shit about flexing, right? Goes to Area Cup, plays Splash like the entire tourney. Like, it's just better sometimes to only have to worry about one weapon than it is to worry about multiple, especially when you're switching between weapons that have completely different playstyles and you have to kind of adjust to everything. Sometimes it's just better to like stick on like Nautilus or something. I remember seeing a lot more of these one like equals hot takes things earlier, but I don't remember from where, to be honest. Oh wait, I know who did it. Shaq made one. Here we go. Tired of seeing this on my timeline. So one like equals one common take. Alright, this has 101 likes. Splatoon 2 solo queue sucks. Splatoon 2 solo queue sucks. Splatoon 2 solo queue sucks. There's too many likes, I can't keep doing this and giving up. These are all amazing and super agreeable. I expect more quality work from you in the future. I agree. Hard agree. Alright, so those were some Splatoon hot takes. Some of those were hot, some of those were cold. I think I even had a couple of mine in there. Here's my biggest hot take of the day. X-Rank is literally the worst part of Splatoon 2 right now. I think X-Rank, especially combined with Nintendo Switch Online, is the worst thing than Splatoon 2. I think if X-Rank was just a lot better, this game would be 30 times more enjoyable for me. If you want to argue about hot takes, do it in the comments. I tried doing something different because I thought it would be fun. And tell me if you liked it or not. I probably had some terrible takes, but whatever. I don't care. Bye.